Uh-oh.
Does everybody know what time it is?
Home Impodcast time.
That's right. Binford Tools is proud to present a Home Improvement Podcast. My name is Adam. You'll know my co-host, Jordan.
What's up, Adam?
How you doing, Jordan?
How's it going, man?
Yeah, man. Good. We recorded probably our worst episode out of 96 or 97.
Today. Worse
last
since
week.
the pilot. Better audio, though.
Better audio, but worse
Content.
attitudes?
Content? Both.
Couple of crab apples, just not really
You
working.
were Mr. Sour Grapes.
Yeah, and you were Mr. Sour Patch.
I was going to say I was just confused.
Yeah. Yes. Well, I'll take half, and you take the lion's share. How's that sound? Wink, wink. But we're here to rebound. I think we're in a better headspace. We're talking about an episode. Jordan, you wanted to go through and rank all the scenes individually, but I told you that I thought that was just a bad idea.
I think we've already done that too much in the last few episodes.
You wanted to count up the number of scenes and then rank them and put them in tiers, which I thought
First you were confused, where did that come from?
Yeah, I was. I was like, yeah, this is a new idea. But no, we are back. We're back in the saddle shoes again this week. We're talking about an actual episode of Home Improvement.
We are.
We're a couple of new dogs up to old tricks.
You want to know an old trick I'm up to?
What are you doing?
Two things.
Whoa, two new tricks?
Two old tricks.
Oh, okay.
So this episode's called Sister and Brothers, which naturally makes me think of my favorite show, Sister.
Sister, yeah. I didn't know when that was going to come up, but I'm glad.
I just want to get it out of the way right now.
Okay.
And also, coincidentally, I've seen a couple times this week an infomercial with Tia or Tamara, or perhaps both. I don't know, but they
you think it's like what they did with the Olsen twins when they were young. When one got kind of cranky, they switched them out.
I think so.
That's what they do as adults.
I mean, if you're on an infomercial, maybe that's the way it has to be. I don't know.
Or a nymphomercial. That's infomercials for perverts, I guess. Jordan, I wish that I had a twin that could come in and
save you from saying things like that.
Oh no, he'd probably say the same things, but do my job for me once a week, or go. I went to the post office earlier today. Record with you.
You can
sometimes
hire people to do that. Although I would be very upset if you hired someone to record a podcast with me. He calls me on Google Hangouts and is like, "Hey, I'm here to record the episode." I just don't think that would go over well.
What do you mean you can hire someone to do that?
To do things for you.
Do chores? Well, yeah, sure. Like an assistant, right?
Well, you ever heard of TaskRabbit or stuff like that?
No, are they our sponsor this week?
They're not, but they should be.
I tell you what, I wouldn't mind a TaskRabbit right now recording with me, because it's I said to you earlier, we like to talk about weather on our podcast because that is kind of a unique thing and people don't do that very often. But it's one of those days where it's like 80 degrees, but it's also raining. So I got the window open, I'm drinking some coffee, and I'm just sweating bullets.
Yeah,
it's miserable.
And you know what?
A TaskRabbit would really alleviate some of that.
It certainly would help.
You just like TaskRabbit because you have two pet rabbits.
Well, I was wondering when you'd get under the guys,
yeah.
But I did see those sweating bullets that you had. I saw the rain. I can vouch. Usually we don't do our video with our recording.
We shouldn't do audio most of the time.
We barely
stop doing audio.
We barely do. Just video and us talking, and no one can hear us. But you showed me. I've never been to your apartment. You've been down here and see where I live currently, and you graciously showed me around a tour with your webcam today. And I gotta say,
after almost 2 years of living here, I finally felt comfortable showing you my digs.
Yeah, I'm usually pretty judgmental about people's living situations, but
that's true.
It was,
you of all people.
I gotta say. Pretty nice location,
Thanks, man.
Wonderful atmosphere, just a great place for life and learning and podcasting.
Home improvement in particular. It's a great place to just take in home improvement related content. Well, thanks, Jordan. Maybe someday you'll come visit, but I suspect I'll move before you get anywhere near this part of the
Once you get
country.
out to California with your reboot script.
When I'm hobnobbing with Tim Allen, you'll come on out. But Jordan, I mean, is there anything else I need to get off my chest? Let me think. What are you watching these days?
What am I watching?
I know you have a child now, and I think I suspect that takes up a good chunk of your time, but you taking in any pop culture content, anything new?
Not really. I mean, There's been a lot of Gilmore Girls on in the background that my wife's been watching. Mm-hmm. So I suppose by osmosis, I know a little bit about Luke and Lorelai more than I want to know.
I've never seen an episode. Well, I bet I'd like it though.
It's pretty much like a soap opera, but it's.
Is it better or worse than Home Improvement? Think very carefully before you answer.
Well, all I'm going to tell you is that the next podcast we're starting is Gilmore Boys.
There's Gilmore Guys as like a famous podcast that two comedians started. Yeah.
Well, we'll do Gilmore Boys.
Okay, yeah. I mean, they worked their way through the whole show, and then they had like a live show with the cast. So I think we could definitely improve on that.
Well, here's the thing about that show. There's 7 seasons. Almost
in a movie?
Well, it's like a Netflix like miniseries, I think, as well. I don't know if there's a movie, but each episode there's like 22 some episodes in a season, and they're all 40 minutes long, so it's longer.
You think they've got it even tougher than we do?
I think so. So we should count our blessings.
And I do every day.
Yeah.
Jordan, speaking of blessings, what are we covering this week?
This week we're covering episode 98. Not episode 100, which IMDb says for some reason.
I know, and you know what? Like, I knew it wasn't episode 100, but like when you see it on there, you think, well, could I have been wrong all along?
No, you couldn't have. Did you vote?
Did
you vote it down?
IMDb was. Did I vote it down? No, I should though.
Yeah, we're gonna have to go in there. Anyway, episode 98, sisters and brothers and sisters, blah 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 blah. Whatever that song is at the end of the episode.
Oh, is that what?
Is that what I was singing?
I didn't even piece it together. I should have done more research on that song, I'm thinking.
That's all right. This one's written by Rosalind Moore. She last did Bachelor of the Year, in which Al was just a hunk of burning love.
That's the one that I liked.
Yeah, that's the one you loved. Aired May 2nd, 1995. There are some plot keywords. I don't know if you saw any of them. They're not particularly interesting. There's things on there like twins... And
twins!
And sibling rivalry, kimono, toy, aunt, house guest, physicist.
I gotta say, like, I'm kind of less interested in the keywords now that I know that they just take the, most recent Marvel movie or most popular thing and put it on top.
What do you think the number one is for house guest?
Ant? Oh, I was gonna say ants. Oh, Ant-Man. House guest? Well, it should be the Sinbad movie House Guest, but it's probably like Thor Ragnarok because there's probably some bullshit scene where Loki comes and lives with Thor or something. I don't know. What is it?
Have you ever heard of The Invitation?
Yeah, I think I've seen it. The Invitation.
Right. The Invitation. Then Citizen Kane.
Okay, I definitely have seen Citizen Kane. Studied film.
Wedding Crashers.
Seen it.
16 Candles.
I haven't seen 16 Candles. I probably should.
How about A Streetcar Named Adam?
I was gonna say, is he gonna blow the desire part of this? I have seen that.
You're never gonna guess what number 6 is. Not in a million years.
Can you tell me what it starts with? This is really interesting for people.
Letter?
Sure.
Like a letter?
Yeah.
F.
No, number. F. Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas.
Friday the 13th, Part 7.
Is that... Let me guess which one that is. Let me guess the semicolon on that. 7 has got to be... Okay, Manhattan is 8. So 7... I think it's with the telekinetic girl. What can you tell me what it is? New Blood?
The New Blood, yes.
Oh,
look at you.
Yeah.
Doesn't everything go back to Friday the 13th? A film that is also very like Friday the 13th comes in at number 8, and that's Bean. Mr. Bean.
Oh, I don't like him.
You draw the line at Mr. Bean.
I don't know. He's a little too bumbling for me. Like, at a certain point, get your stuff done, Mr. Bean.
All right. Wow. I did not expect that to happen, but
you're like, it's like listening to Low Post podcast with Zach Lowe, and he will say one thing that's kind of not even that far off from what he's talking about, and he'll be like, "Whoa, major tangent. Got to get back." He'll be like, "Yeah, that was like that episode of The Office. Whoa, sorry about my major tangent. Let me get back to NBA."
Hey, that dude's brand is basketball, and he likes to stay on topic.
And you know what? I'm glad that he does. Otherwise, yeah. I can't even get into what I was about to get into.
Otherwise, you'd be stuck on Bill Simmons all the time. And
Hey man, you don't want me to go down that rabbit hole.
I don't.
So just stop.
So much rabbit talk today. All right, let's get into alternative titles. How about that?
Yeah, that's fine.
Let's go down that rabbit hole.
All right.
You've got 5, if I recall.
Yeah, it's a party of 5.
Party of 5. I've got Connect 4, so you can go first.
Okay. Episode title is Sisters and Brothers. My first one is Kim. Oh no.
Good every time.
Yep.
Simple one just to start it off, just to, get things started, get things loose. How about sibling strife?
Yeah, good. Oh, here's my next one. Tim, the Toy Man Taylor.
I feel like I'm, sometimes you say I reuse them. I feel like that one maybe has been reused, but maybe not.
Hey, prove it.
I won't, because I'm not going back and to listen to all these old episodes.
No. What's done is done.
All right. Picture imperfect.
That's good. This is getting into the weaker ones. Chamomile.
I almost did something with that too.
Well, it was there.
Mine was more like kill me or something like that.
Oh, yikes.
Yeah. How about rusty relationships?
That's pretty good. All right. Couple of singing ones. Carry on my wayward sister. Because her name's Carrie.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I didn't love it.
Is there going to be a Stephen King Carrie title coming up?
Yeah, I wish. It would have been better.
I wish. You can't really... it's just called Carrie.
Yeah, it's would have been just kind of confusing.
Yeah, I'm confused already. This one's sponsored by Steve Harvey. So, Family Feuds.
Good. Here's another. I guess I had 6.
Oh.
So I lied. Look at these photographs!
She certainly makes you.
Yes. Is that it?
That's it for me, yeah.
I have another one. I don't know if it's not even, you won't even understand the reference, but it's a reference. Captain Picard says this a lot on one of the Star Trek shows. He says, tea, Earl Grey, hot. So that was my last one. And I've never watched that show, but I just heard he said that a lot.
What is it? Wait, say it one more time.
Tea, Earl Grey, hot. Like he says that into like a machine,
and it pops it
space. I don't know. I've never watched the show. I'm not qualified to even be talking about this, but
perhaps that one's loosely
that
affiliated.
One could be, if you decide to edit that out at the end, I would be fine with me.
If I do, we'll see. How about we do the plot synopsis right now?
Do it.
All right. Skagary66 writes, Jill's sister Carrie, a globetrotting photographer, comes to visit, and their different paths in life create conflict. Meanwhile, Tim can't seem to stop arguing with his brother Marty, and the strife even spills over to create friction between Al and his brother Cal. So much family feud going on in this episode.
Yeah, it becomes almost an absurd amount of feuding at a certain point.
You mean like the last scene?
Yeah, I mean, we'll get there.
We'll get there. Where are we going to start, though, Adam?
We're starting in Tool time, Jordan. And I don't know if you noticed this, Jordan.
Was there some flowers somewhere?
Well, Jordan, I don't know if you caught this. I did because I'm kind of astute, but Jordan, it's springtime.
Springtime. You could tell because the flowers were out and it was...
You know what the real bummer is like, that means that when you originally said that, it was like a year ago.
At least.
Yeah, at least. So
it might have been 2 seasons ago.
Maybe we're the real losers here. But it's springtime, and they are doing some patio furniture cleaning on Tool time.
They're sprucing up some stuff.
I wrote, did you notice it's spring? I remembered to get that bit in there.
Good thing you got that.
Yeah, it's a good thing I wrote it down just so I could say it later on. They have some various kind of machinery they're talking about using. I didn't take note of that, but
come on.
There is an orbital sander that Tim is prepared to use for rust because apparently he doesn't bring in his patio furniture in the winter, which he's got that whole garage. It seems like he would want to do that.
Well, you know what's in the garage? Another piece of rust.
Yeah, that's right. The new old hot rod.
I'm always excited. Well, not excited is the wrong word to use. I'm always interested a little bit more in these scenes when I've actually used a tool that they're talking about.
And you've used an orbital sander?
I've used an orbital sander quite a few times working with
quite a few times?
More than you'd think.
Tell me one time you used it, what you did.
So, Kersley, you know that place, right?
Yeah, Jordan. I think I know Kersley.
I mean, they should know you after the way that you treated them on the football field.
Yeah, okay. I'm glad you went that direction.
Anyways, my dad has painted their lockers for various schools, so we used an orbital sander quite a bit. on the lockers to get some of that old paint off and smooth it out.
What? And that is how that story ends. That's amazing.
I mean, that's what you wanted.
You worked on the Kersley lockers.
Yeah, and you want to know other times I've used orbital sand?
No, just the one time was good. Wow, I didn't know you. That's a pretty big time job. Your dad's kind of a titan of Davison Industry.
You're telling me?
Yeah. Tim, he sort of develops a new tool. It's a hot air gun that he says is going to remove rust and paint.
It does.
It's essentially it's like a flamethrower.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does. It burns right through the chair. And then everybody's kind of like at the end like, oh, wow.
No rust, no paint, no chair.
Funny how that happened. It's dumb. I didn't like it.
Did you like it more or less than the navel jelly joke that Tim does?
Well, I skipped right over it, so you have to figure I didn't like it. Yeah, I don't want to say my lows yet, but not a lot of good jokes in this one, in my opinion. But maybe you'll feel differently.
We'll find out, won't we?
We sure will. Garage, Jordan.
We're working on the hot rod, that hunk of rust that I was talking about earlier. Tim is there, and the boys are there. All three of them have kind of jumped together, and they're going to work on the hot rod, and they're all underneath the car working on something. Jill comes in. Her sister Carrie is coming to visit. We find out that she's a traveler, goes all around the world, and she's going to be coming around. Tim's not excited.
No one's excited. They all mutually groan.
Yeah, they're all not very excited, and Jill kind of criticizes Tim for doing that. He's a bad influence. But Tim reminds her that, she's the one who gets into fights with all of her family. So that's the real problem. And
yeah, I mean, he's right. She has, I probably said this before, but there's something almost psychologically off. Not off, but this compulsion she has to continually surround herself with her family when in fact she doesn't really like any members of her family is just kind of strange. Like, hey, if you don't like your family, stop inviting them over or having them in your life. But she just continues, kind of a masochist, Jordan.
A little bit. I wish that the Colonel would have made an appearance, a surprise appearance.
Isn't he done though?
I think so, but I wish he would have.
Taylor. Hey, Taylor, let's see your photographs. Robert Redford.
Would he like her photographs, or would he be mad?
I'll tell you what. He wouldn't like them unless they were of,
Patton.
Iwo Jima, Vietnam Wall, things like that.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Well, Colonel Talk is over, and Tim...
Colonel Talk's never over.
Never. So Carrie's coming in on Saturday. That's good news for Tim, because he's going to be helping his brother Marty on Saturday. I guess that's the move date. They're moving down from... I don't know where they were before. Were they at Bay
It was
City?
never clear.
Bay City, probably?
Presumably somewhere in the middle of the state. Yeah, Bay City, perhaps.
So he's got that new job. He's starting at the
maybe
sporting
Birch
goods
Run,
store, right? Is that what it is?
Yeah, that's correct, Jordan. And I don't know. I'm just speculating here, but I think he might work near those prime outlets in Birch Run.
Right now?
No, I'm speculating that is where he's working.
So he moved.
No, not right now. No, you're right. I forgot he moved. But I was thinking before. I was thinking they lived up near Birch Run. He probably worked at one of the outlet stores.
And now he's moved on.
Fanfic. Yeah.
Fanfic. The much coveted fanfic of Marty.
Well, there's a whole subgenre of prime outlet fanfic.
Oh.
People,
Okay. Well, I'll be interested to read that if you can point me to the URL.
Just change the subject, all right?
In the meantime. Jill is suddenly worried. She's excited for her sister coming initially, and now she's suddenly worried because she's going to be home alone with her sister.
Yeah. Jill stinks in this one.
She's a real stinker.
Really stinks.
Next scene, the stinker meets her sister-in-law.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, Jordan. Yeah, Nancy and Jill. They're just kind of talking.
They got the twins.
They got twins, and they just put them outside in a playpen and leave.
Yeah, I mean that's what I do all the time.
You have a kid now. I hope you don't, because there's gators around your parts. So
yeah, cats and gators. You know all about the cats.
Well, hey, cats. The cats won't do anything, but the gators you got to worry about. Carrie is a freelance photographer, which in the world of home improvement is equivalent to a rock star, apparently.
Well, when you're taking photos for Mick Jagger, I guess it is.
Yeah, I mean, I guess she's achieved a certain rank, but. Yeah, she's a freelance photographer. She takes pictures of Mick Jagger. You kind of get from the onset that Jill is jealous of her. She travels the world and does all these things. And Robert Redford caught her when she stepped off of a curb or something.
I think she was falling or something. I don't know.
Yeah. well, we'll talk about that later. Marty and Tim, they enter at the same time. I think, well, Jill says at the end, like, I wish that I was close like Marty and Tim were. In enter Marty and Tim, and they are fighting. And Marty, he really conveys his anger well. This is just a really well-acted scene.
Tim's a real butthead, according to Marty, and he wants everyone to know it. Oh
my gosh, like, the limits of a network show and what they can and can't say were really evident in this scene because Marty just says, like, butthead, butthole. I don't think he says butthole, but, like, very, like,
butthole would have been a step too far.
Butthole would have been funny. Butthole. But, like, very juvenile kind of insults, like, dummy, butthead, idiot, etc. And, like, he just, like, keeps saying them.
It seems real authentic.
It seemed authentic. Marty's a good actor. I don't know what to tell you. Never get him on the show. I don't. Maybe no major loss. I don't know. But what Tim was going to help Marty move in, and they were getting the floors done, I believe. Something to do with the floors. And Marty had a guy, but Tim had a better guy. But he screwed up the whole job, and now because the floors aren't finished, they can't move anything into the house when they were supposed to. So instead, they have to move everything into Tim and Jill's house.
It seems more likely that Tim's guy would have been Tim, doesn't it?
Yeah. Well, I mean, probably better off that it wasn't. I mean, they'd have really been in trouble.
He would have been a real big butthead if it was him.
I was just trying to think, like, is this, like, if this were a real situation, is this what you would do, I guess? Like, I don't know. Can you... I guess I don't know where you'd put it. Rent a storage unit for a day? Like, I guess that doesn't really exist. But yeah,
I don't know. A lot of storage units have, like, the free month or free 2 months free.
So maybe you get, like, a free month and you cancel. I don't know. But, this whole section of the episode, I didn't really know at the end why it had been included. Like, the boxes, I mean, other than to just, like, create strife between Tim and his brother, I guess. But the boxes, they move all the boxes, and it doesn't really amount to anything except for, like, one punchline. But
what's that punchline?
We'll get there.
Okay, I don't even remember the punchline, so I'm very excited to hear it. Yeah. So after they are arguing, that's when Carrie does arrive, and it's
chaos, and she kind of walks in the midst of all
of
it.
And she's going to be here for a week. She's full of energy. She's also full of backhanded compliments. She talks about Jill living, like, a simple life in a simple house and all this sorts of stuff, just in that similar vein.
She's very condescending. Yeah, like, simple, little, suburban... and she kind of does this throughout the whole episode, and sometimes I think maybe Jill is irrational, but I could definitely see why she would not enjoy being around her sister.
Yeah, absolutely, especially for a full week. That would be tough if something doesn't
Jordan,
change.
I think I should just do a bio right now.
I think you should.
Carrie is played by Tootie Roche. Roche or Roach? I'm going to say Roche. Yeah. She has, how many credits to her name, you ask? 10 credits to her name. She appears in 6 episodes of Home Improvement for a couple of years, so she's going to be coming back. Did you remember this character?
Not really, at all.
Me either, and so I'm surprised she's going to be in 6. She was also in Ryan's Hope, a television show, The John Larroquette Show. She had a role in the City of Angels Nick Cage film, and, 10 credits, but she was in a TV series this year called The Epic Tales of Captain Underpants, and she did a voice, so... she's maybe looking to get back into the biz, but Tootie Roche plays Carrie, and I don't. In terms of her performance, I don't know. It's I guess the character's sort of unlikable, so it just sort of puts that spin. So maybe she does a good job at playing sort of an unlikable, condescending role, but maybe it didn't do a lot for me. I don't know.
No, the thing that you left out. Mm-hmm. Perhaps the biggest claim to fame for her is that she's Richard Karn's wife.
She is?
Yeah. They've been married since 1985.
What? Are you kidding me? How do you know? Where does it say this?
It's available on the places that we normally look.
What? Wow. Okay.
Shock and awe campaign today.
I'm surprised. And she's in 6 episodes. That's crazy. Man, I didn't know that.
It's a family affair on Tool Time today.
It really was. Wow. Well, you know what? She does a really good job, and I think she's fantastic. And she does a really good job. You know what I was trying to say earlier is that, like, I think that I just find the character unlikable. So, it's hard to say, like, it's a great performance. But, I think if she's making me feel that and, she's giving me this disdain for the character, that it has to be a,
incredible job.
Solid performance. So, Tootie Roche, great to have her on the show. I look forward to having her, 5-6 more times.
The weirdest thing that her character does it. I don't know if this is, intentional or not. But do you find this weird? She went and she's excited to see the family. She doesn't remember Marty, all that kind of stuff. She kisses Tim on the lips.
It was weird. And the audience laughed, but I don't know. Yeah, it was kind of strange. And it was like long, and like Tim kind of made a face or whatever. But yeah, it was sort of a strange bit.
Yeah, I can't remember something like that. I mean, can you imagine if Nancy did that and
Tim would love it.
I know. That would have been his dream come true.
I wish they'd do that now. So basically she's there, it's chaos.
Carrie's here. Carrie the chaos bringer.
Carrie's here. Are we I guess do we head upstairs? Is that
Yeah, we're going upstairs to the bedroom boys' bedroom.
Yeah, so we have Brad is like playing with, I don't know the exact name on these, but they're Taiwanese they fit on the ends of fingers. Did you get the exact name on these?
I think they're just Thai nail adornments.
Sure, that's a big way to say it. I wrote Taiwanese finger caps.
Well, I thought they were Thai, not Taiwanese, but I don't remember. Now it's too late. Taiwanese. But you know what? Taiwanese would have made more sense because there's a kimono, which is more associated.
That's kind of what I found. Well, we're tripping over our own feet here. But she's a traveler, and she's bringing back, wares for the boys. So Brad kind of has these on his fingers. Randy does as well. They are kind of rude, I guess. Like, they're not very interested in their gifts. Meanwhile, she's just, like, snapping pictures of them. Like, in this kind of role, this world, like, the photographer just loves taking pictures, whether she's, at the base of a volcano or, like, at home. Like, she just loves taking pictures, which I don't know if that's necessarily true. I guess it could be, but she just is always snapping photos, regardless of what's happening. Man, that would
drive me insane.
That would be awful, yeah. Joke here, so she got these finger...
adornments,
we'll say, for Randy and Brad, but she got Mark a kimono, which actually is the best gift of the three. I mean, I know the kimono is like, it's like, I don't know if it's pink, but it's a little bit feminine for a child of the 90s, but like probably pretty comfortable. I
would say, and I think Tim gets one too.
Yeah, well, and we know what he does with it. But yeah, I mean, there's some jokes, and Mark is kind of unsure of it. Mark secretly loves that kimono, but he's just trying to look cool in front of his brothers, I think. Well,
I mean, we don't know what he does with it afterward. We don't get the idea that he gave it away. They didn't say that.
Yeah, he's the only one that maybe kept his gift, so yeah. That kimono, I think we're going to see that kimono in the next couple seasons.
It's going to become a character as well?
Yeah, well, it's like it's like
don't
the
you
girl in
don't
Sex and the City.
You're terrible.
Right.
Jill comes in, dismisses the kimono boy and the other two.
She says, kimono.
Oh, no. And I guess this is, they're Carrie's getting more pictures of Jill in her element, so she's folding
doing
laundry.
The condescension continues.
Yes. And she tries to spin it. She says, no, you're taking care of your family. And then Carrie drops the Woj bomb that she is thinking of starting her own family someday.
Boogie Cousins signing with the Golden State Warriors for $5.3 million?
Kawhi got traded, and also I'm thinking about starting a family.
Yeah. It's funny. She says, yeah, one of the reasons I want to be here is I want to see close up what marriage is like and just kind of see if it's for me. Like, that's not, like, what do you mean see what marriage is like? You think you're going to come stay in someone's house and, like, get, like, a brand new, like, grand idea about what it's like to be married and have a family? Like, that was just such a bizarre thing for me. Like, that's not something people do.
Yeah, and then she also adds injury to insult by saying she wants to make sure it's not too mundane for her.
It's not like taking a car for a test drive and then you decide you want to buy it. It's like, that was, like, when she said that, it was just super weird. She's like, I want to see this marriage thing close up and just kind of get the nuts and bolts. It's like, are you an alien or something?
She kind of is an alien, though. That's what I get from this episode.
Yeah, it was weird. She said she could see herself marrying someone like Tim, but she didn't want to have to settle. Jill rightfully finds that upsetting. Tim's, like, role in this episode, is sort of like he's like a scene nomad. Like he comes into a scene, he says something really stupid, gets a laugh, and then walks out.
He's the jester. He really is.
He does it a lot, like maybe 5 times in this scene.
You know what? Like 3 out of the 5 times it works for me.
I don't even know what he says in this.
Socks.
She says something about, like, Jill is like Lord of the Socks or whatever. Like, you think all I do is socks, and Tim comes in and is like, hey, can I get some socks? And, et cetera, et cetera.
It's pretty good.
Yeah.
It's pretty good. I like that Carrie takes offense at Jill taking offense to her.
Yeah, she's like, you're self-centered or something, right?
It's wild. It is absolutely wild. So that's kind of what we got. We got some sibling strife between Carrie and Jill at this point. We go downstairs later, and we're going to get into the opposite of sibling strife. They're making up here. Marty and Tim are making up from their earlier fight. They're having a beer. Tim admitted he was wrong. Nancy comes down, and we've got some bad news. She can't find Farmer Fred.
Like, what is this subplot? Like, what is this? What are we watching?
We had to have Tim have something to do. And
there's so many, like, weird threads in this episode that amount to nothing. I don't know. Yeah, that's all I have to say about it. Farmer Fred, he's gone. Marty doesn't know where he's at.
Yep.
They gotta look for him.
So for the rest of the episode, Tim and Marty are going to search all of the boxes in the house. I guess that's why all the boxes are there for this plot, which really pays off.
Satisfying, isn't it?
So satisfying. Jill comes down fuming. At this point, Marty is gone. And Tim makes a joke to try to lighten the mood. Jill does not like that. Then Tim changes tactics and tries to pile on with Jill for Carrie. Jill doesn't like that. And then Tim decides, I'm going to compliment Carrie, and Jill doesn't like that. So he's, darned if he does, darned if he doesn't.
You said it, mister. Next scene, we get a nice little fence segment here, Jordan.
Oh, it's so nice.
I think we should play a clip here.
Let's do it.
Wilson, what are you doing?
Well, hidey-ho, neighborette. See, I am dancing the Fon Leb. Your boys gave me these nails as a gift. They are so thoughtful.
Did they also give you some lychee nuts?
Yes, indeedy. I even nibbled on some while I was trying on the kimono that Tim gave me.
Well, my family has always believed that it's better to give than to keep anything my sister gave them.
Oh, so the gifts came from Carrie. She is such an interesting woman.
Could I talk to Wilson for a minute? I got a couple minutes before I gotta go to work.
You'll have to wait.
I can't wait.
I'm sorry, we only have one Wilson, and I'm using him.
Neighbors, I am a friend. I'm not a restroom.
I'm sorry, Wilson. Tim, come on. I know you want to talk to Wilson about me, but I was here first.
Well, hurry up. I don't know how long I can hold it.
So, Jill, what did you want to talk to me about?
Carrie. When we were kids, we were so close. We used to share a room. We told each other everything. And now when we get together, all we do is fight.
Why do you think that is?
I don't know. Ever since high school, we've just been going in different directions.
Well, sometimes it is difficult to find the way back to each other.
Maybe I just need to face the fact that we're never going to be close again.
Well, Jill, I wouldn't give up hope just yet. I'm reminded of the 19th century English poet Christina Rossetti, who wrote, "There is no friend like a sister in calm or stormy weather, to cheer on the tedious way, to fetch one if one goes astray."
Wait, which one of us is going astray?
Well, if you lose the relationship, maybe both of you.
Just great. Look at the time. Huh? Now it's off to work I go without my hidey-ho.
All right, so talk about subversion. Can we start with that?
The ultimate subversion. This is it's a good scene. I like it.
Yeah. So Jill goes out to see Wilson, and Wilson is dancing. He has those nails that were gifts from Carrie to the boys, and apparently they have passed them on to someone who can appreciate them more.
That's a good idea,
which I
guess.
suppose is good. And then we learned that Tim also gave the kimono. Tim, both, maybe. Tim comes out and wants to talk to Wilson before he has to go to work. I don't know. I should say this in this episode. I have no idea what's going on with time.
Fair question. Yeah, because I got the feeling, like, when Jill went out and approached Wilson, I thought, like, Saturday at 4? I don't know. I don't know. I mean, like, It just didn't have the feel.
And then at one point they jump ahead to Tool Time, and then they jump back in the day. It's very strange.
Yeah, it's almost like they weren't even thinking about that stuff.
Yeah, probably not.
It's weird.
Too much chaos with those boxes.
They're time bandits. That's what they are.
Time bandits. So Tim comes out. He wants to talk to Wilson before work, but Wilson's busy. And then Wilson kind of takes offense because the Taylor family is kind of treating him as this commodity or a commode.
Exactly right. He says, hey, because like Jill's there, Tim's like, I want to talk to him. There's essentially a line to use Wilson, quote unquote. He says, hey guys, I'm a friend, not a restroom. But if you want to take a on me, you can.
And they do. They do. All right, so you got yourself on that one, huh?
Yeah.
Oh, jeez. All right, so. Jill gets priority here, and when Jill starts talking to Wilson about the situation with Carrie, talk about when they were kids, they were close, but now all they do is fight. Jill wants to give up hope that they'll ever be close again, and Wilson says, maybe it's both of your faults, basically, and you need to both get back on the same track, so I don't...
Yeah, the advice itself isn't that good, but
you liked it.
I just like the idea of, like, there being
people
a line
pooping
to talk to Wilson. I didn't know those are your words.
No, that was your word.
No, I don't remember that. But no, I like it when Jill is like, I know that you just want to talk to Wilson about me. Like she's aware that like he's just going to come out there and complain about like Jill and her sister. I thought that was kind of funny.
Yeah, well.
But yeah, he gives us advice, and then Tim is frustrated that he had to wait and says, I think he off to work I go without my hidey-ho. Along those lines. Yeah. It was funny.
It was funny. It was another one of those lines where Tim comes in and makes a joke and then is out of there. So
You said it, mister.
I did. So with that, we move on back to Spring Spruce Up Week on Tool Time. They're talking deck repair today. And Al says something about like sistering a board next to another board on the deck to repair it, and that's enough for Tim to go off.
What is it with sisters? I wish he would have said he was cheese. That is like
there was no cheese in this episode.
They can't go to the well too many times with regards to that. Like he could say he was cheesed every episode, and I think I'd like it.
Yeah, well, he doesn't here, unfortunately, but he does talk about.
Yeah, but wouldn't it be better if he did? I'm just kidding. Let's talk about what we wish they would have done.
Yeah, I wish they wouldn't have done a lot of things in this episode, but they do. Tim goes on to talk about women, sisters fighting. Men, when they fight, they just deck each other and they're done.
Al says that he's making a lot of generalizations, and I was thinking, like, yeah, you're just now catching on to this.
Al hates generalizations just like you do.
I hate them. I mean, I refuse to make them.
Yeah. So, you guys are simpatico in that way, and apparently Cal and Al are simpatico as well. Is this the first mention that we've ever had of Al's brother?
I gotta think so.
I don't remember it, but
it's weird. It's like a coincidence that he happened to be on set too.
I feel like. So they're basically just like throwing as many siblings into a fight here, but they don't really show the bedroom boys fighting, and they're all siblings. So that
would have been logical, wouldn't it? Maybe they think we've seen too much of that, but I could always use a little bit more. But yeah, Tim says, or Al says that him and his brother have never fought. They just anytime they have an agreement, they just settle it over like a couple kinds of tea. So Earl Grey versus chamomile.
That's a big problem.
Yeah, it's a big problem. Well, we don't know that yet. No. Tim says, like, I don't really believe you. And I was like, yeah, he's just my brother's here. We've never mentioned him before.
He's very conveniently backstage for Mother's birthday. Just so happens to be, right there. It's my mother's birthday. And so they bring out Cal, and, it's an impressive doppelganger, I gotta say. He's slightly larger carbon copy, basically. Like, I thought,
he's taller and he's heavier. But the beard, the facial, just kind of not expression, but just like the face and the hair, I mean, like a dead ringer. It's really impressive.
I would say I would totally believe that they're brothers, except for when Cal opens his mouth.
Well, we'll get there, yeah. Cal's played by Keith Lehman. 2 credits to his name. He is in 5 episodes of Home Improvement. He'll be back.
Every episode Carrie comes on, he comes on.
You think?
No.
Maybe. I hope not. No. And then he was also in a video called Bobby Speaking, where he played Pistol Pete.
Oh, I think we all love Pistol Pete.
Must be he's not an actor. He's only 6 feet tall, so Richard Karn must not be very tall at all.
What are you trying to say?
I mean, I'm saying that I hate short people, and if you're short, you're useless. No, it's if nothing else, then the plot kind of maybe fails the character here, but if for no other reason than to have his brother come out and look exactly like Al, it's impressive and kind of an enjoyable sort of sequence, I would say.
Yeah.
Do you agree?
Yeah,
Did you like it?
I agree. Like some more details about Cal. He's a physicist.
Yeah.
And then we do learn that there is a little bit of strife within this little sibling group here.
He's a physicist, and he sounds like someone from A Streetcar Named Desire. Someone out of the deep, deep South.
He definitely doesn't sound like him and Al. Like, they must have been, like, separated at birth or something and then reunited.
Yeah, he sounds like someone that maybe would live down the street from you or something. So they come out, and there's kind of, it's back and forth, but they talk about the tea thing, and Cal says, that he wishes when they would have this tea that instead of Earl Grey, they would that he preferred chamomile. And Al gets very mad. And he says, you're betraying me by bringing this up on my show. You're jealous of me. You're a physicist. And they kind of get into it on live air. So
yeah, it's a knockdown, drag-out fight, and I don't know who's the winner.
I think we all lost during this one, if I'm being honest.
All right, back home. Tim is playing with some toys that he found in the boxes. I forget, there's some ducks, I think, that are trailing him.
He's like pulling something.
He's pulling some ducks. This is kind of your favorite subplot of the... We should rank all the subplots of the episodes, and you love it. No.
Yeah, it's good. They really packed a lot into this instead of developing any one thing. So.
Yeah, Marty is still trying to find Farmer Fred. Tim obviously is not taking it very serious. Jill comes down and catches Carrie trying to leave.
Was she just going to leave without saying anything to anybody?
Yeah, Carrie was just going to bounce due to the fight. Like, she can't deal with this awkward situation. I mean, I suppose she probably doesn't do very well with it because she doesn't have family.
She seems as though she's not... Yeah, she doesn't maybe know how to talk to people.
She just takes pictures.
She just takes pictures. Yeah. She's trying to... A classic Irish goodbye here. She's trying to bounce out.
Yeah, and it's not going to work because Jill catches her, wants her to stay. They talk it out.
Tim comes in with several toys, and you might want to talk about this because I think you probably liked it.
I did like the monkey toy.
He comes in with, I don't know. Yeah, I remember the monkey toy.
Jack in the Box, or
the Jack in the Box thing is kind of funny. What's that from? Isn't there an animated? I feel like there's like an animated movie or a show or something where. Oh, I think it might be. I guess it's Rudolph, the original Rudolph, where the boy is just continually, he has to test the Jack in the Boxes, and he keeps getting scared when they pop out.
Well, doesn't that happen in Elf?
Maybe that's what it is.
With Will Ferrell.
Maybe Elf stole it from Rudolph.
I think
that
so.
Makes sense. Wow, we're gonna get to the bottom of things. He comes out with the Jack in the Box, and then he does the monkey with the symbols, and basically he's just coming out, making jokes, interrupting their conversation, and then heading back and bringing.
I'm kind of thankful that he did, because can you imagine just having to go through this whole conversation without any jokes or anything?
Yeah, it's pretty interesting because Jordan, you know what? We come to find out here in the end, and I don't think anybody would have predicted this at the beginning. But both sisters are kind of jealous of each other's existence. I didn't think that it was possible that maybe they were both kind of right and also kind of wrong at the same time. It's almost as if people are complex as a whole. I don't know, but Jill's jealous of what Carrie has, and Carrie's jealous of what Jill has. And Jordan, this is where the box pays off. The boxes pay off because. Carrie says, I've been in the same apartment for 5 years and I haven't even unpacked my boxes. Can you imagine what that's like? And then Jill looks around and sees boxes everywhere.
That was a slow burn.
Worth it.
Worth every second. And then it kind of ends with Carrie, wants to make some life changes. She's not happy. And Jill will be there to talk when she needs it.
Yep. And then Tim comes in and is like, I couldn't find the farmer, but I found another really good toy. One that my parents gave me. And it was Baby's First Ratchet.
That was his worst joke.
And I said, Ratchet, like this episode, as the kids say.
Oh, yeah.
Do you want to talk about this final scene that is...
Boy, I do.
What? I mean... Is this... what is this like? Have you seen anything like this?
I will say, I've come to expect the unexpected.
The unexpected at the end of episodes?
You just never know.
When they have 15 seconds to fill at the end of an episode, there's nothing they won't do. I guess.
Yeah, it's like, what's the craziest thing that we could, like, if somebody just says the first thing in a brainstorming session and they have to go with it no matter how silly it is. And so this is what
it doesn't even make sense.
So there's a song playing in the background about sisters and brothers.
Do you think maybe, and I know that you don't love to do this, but do you think maybe we should play a little bit of it?
I mean, is it worth it? Is it worth me going back and doing this?
I think it is, just for our audience. Jordan.
All right, so here's a little clip of this tune that they're playing, just so you can
get, people,
so you can get an idea. So, I mean, what does it sound like to you? It sounds like a 60s or 70s, like, TV show sitcom intro, maybe?
Here's the problem. It's not on IMDb, so I don't know.
Well...
if you keep talking, I'm going to do a little bit of looking, and then, I'll come back in a second. But
so
talk us through the scene.
Yeah.
It's unique.
It's certainly unique. So they're playing this music in the background, and they start outside. Marty and Tim are fighting again. We don't know why. And that kind of continues as they go inside the house quickly. There's not any words that we get. We just get the song over everything else that's happening on screen. And it goes from Marty and Tim. Oh, I think Marty drops a ladder on Tim's foot and they start fighting. They go inside. Carrie and Jill are fighting over a remote. And then we see Al and Cal. I don't know why they're here necessarily. But
I don't know either. It's really weird.
But they are. And they're fighting over tea and drinking tea. And then it kind of pans back. They go, like, after Al and Cal make up, they kind of go back to Carrie and Jill, and they've made up and are now watching a program together that they both enjoy. But you know what? A surprise, going outside, Marty and Tim are still fighting, and Tim has Marty in kind of a leg lock,
I guess?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I guess,
I couldn't find anything on the song, but yeah, it's weird. Why are Cal and Al there? I don't know.
What are we to make of this?
What are the conflicts? What are the resolutions? And how do things resolve themselves so quickly? Why are Tim and Marty outside kind of wrestling in the yard? These are questions that just won't be answered in Brothers and Sisters. And I think with that in mind, we should say roll credits, fade to black. Sisters and brothers, brothers and sisters. I've used them interchangeably. But Jordan, highs and lows. What do you think of this one? It's our first real episode in a couple weeks.
Yeah, it's been a while.
real in quotes.
Real in quotes. It's okay. There's a lot of stuff going on. It's almost like I can't process it. There's just all these new characters with Cal and Carrie, and then we get the return of Marty and Nancy and the twins.
Return of Marty.
The only really enjoyable parts of the episode for me are just kind of the fact that they got this Cal character that looks so much like Al, and their dynamic. The Jill Carrie dynamic is not particularly developed or intriguing in any way. Marty and Nancy, they don't really add too much to the episode for me. I do enjoy, because of Marty, Tim gets to play with some toys, and he has some funny lines there. And then, like you said, the Wilson scene is pretty good. Some of the jokes that he makes there and whatnot. But it's not one of the better episodes of our season 4, I guess, is what we're doing. We're getting towards the end here of season 4, but it's not one of my favorites. But I guess it's not recycled too much because there's so much new stuff going on. I don't know.
Right.
I don't know what to make of it. What do you make of it,
Jordan? To me, this episode is sort of like, it's like trail mix or something, Like, there's a lot going into trail mix, and you put it all together, and it tastes okay. But if you get kind of the crispy brown parts, those taste really good, and I like those better. But there's also just, like, the checks, and I don't really like that. Is this tracking at all?
I do think that we like different parts of trail mix, so that's interesting, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, just like, there's too much in this episode.
Yeah, there's a lot going on.
And instead of taking the time to develop anything, they just kind of throw more in. So, no, the stuff between Jill and her sister is not compelling because we've seen Jill fight with other family members, and this doesn't really offer anything new. So, not interested. Al's brother Cal is compelling, but only in so much as it's a cool sight gag. They don't really do anything with it, and then they bring that in it's probably a minute 16 or 17 of a 22-minute episode. So you're kind of setting yourself up for failure. Tim, and Marty, kind of the same thing. I don't even know what they're fighting about. The stuff with the toy, sort of stupid. The Wilson scene is good. So yeah, I mean, there's just there are things in here that I like. Put them together, it's just kind of fine to maybe even kind of bad. The episode there's no real arc, and everything's so rushed at the end, and that final scene is just a total head scratcher. So yeah, it's like Chex Mix, Jordan, and I think Chex Mix also is sort of a microcosm of our society right now. So, do you want to weigh in on that?
I think it's such a good metaphor for our society that I couldn't possibly add to it.
I mean, it's sort of self-explanatory, right?
Absolutely.
You don't even need to.
Not going to either. So yeah, that's episode 98, Sisters and Brothers. And with that, we will move to Sean's social media roundup. If you want to reach out to us, you can go to thehomeimpodcast.com. We're on Twitter at Home Impodcast. We're on Facebook.com/Home Impodcast. If you'd like to support the show, go to Patreon.com/Home Impodcast. And for as little as $1 a month, you can support the show, get all of our outtakes, get the reboot script that Adam wrote, which now has feedback from the one and only Carmen Finestra, which we won't share with you, but we have some feedback. And
it is funny. I've become basically intimate friends with the creator of Home Improvement. A month ago I wouldn't have really expected that. But
we definitely wouldn't have expected it.
He may think he's talking to you, but him and I are close friends.
That's right. Yeah, I'll take all the benefits. Yeah, I mean, what we really want to hear most about from you guys by reaching out to us is some of your recipes.
Okay, yeah, right.
So if you can, Adam posed this, I think it was last episode.
I think I should. Well, I guess that episode hasn't come out yet at this point. So when it does, I'll send a tweet though, and maybe people can respond to that. Yeah,
and so you're gonna basically in the next episode we are going to talk about a home improvement themed dish and explain that, and it sounds very compelling. Just wait until the episode; it's gonna be very compelling. So,
and hey, it'd be cool if people, if you have, it doesn't have to be that clever, but if you have a general idea, tweet at us. It'll be fun.
It could be.
Give us something.
It could be just as rushed as the last scene in this episode. We don't care.
The bar is not high.
The bar is lower than you'd ever believe. With that, Adam, what's going on Twitter?
Well, Jordan, last week
you swore off polls.
Yeah, but you know what? I had a good one, so I went ahead and posted it.
Old habits die hard.
This one is going to die hard with a vengeance at some point. But I'm back with a poll. I don't know. It just felt right, so I did it. And the poll this week was, in general, do you like clip-based TV episodes? 11 total votes, so, as long as I'm getting more than 10, I'm a happy camper. But if it gets down to 7, and we're 2 of the people voting, I'm done.
That's the danger zone.
I won't do it. 0% said, whatever, bruh. 45% said, yes, fun to remember. 55% said, no, I already saw it. So, pretty split.
Wow, we've just got a
Where do you land on this? You probably I don't like them.
I mean, we just got a diverse audience. Just like that Chex Mix America metaphor that you've got there.
Yeah, I mean, there's some good audience. There's some good people that listen to our show and some bad people, right? Is that what you're saying?
I don't know that that's what I meant.
Okay.
But that's one way you'd like to put it, I suppose. I'm more just shocked that you did a poll again after, saying you wouldn't.
Hey, Jordan, do you or do you not like clip-based episodes? Answer the question.
I may or may not have voted no.
Oh, okay. All right, me too. I also retweeted, but there's a last man. I don't really know why we're talking about Last Man Standing so much, other than it's Tim Allen.
I think you just really want to do an episode. News.
I don't know. I don't know if I do. I think I do, actually, though. That was full circle. So there's a promo out that they released of Tim Allen for Last Man Standing, and it's pretty dumb, but it's him and his wife, which I want to say is Nancy. I don't know. But they're sitting by a campfire, and have you seen it?
I have not.
You haven't watched it? You're not watching what I'm tweeting? But
he's like, vote your polls.
He's like, hey, look, it's a fox. And then she's like, what? And he says, Fox. And then she says, what are you saying? And he says, Fox. And it's because they're on Fox. And I said that it was a dad joke. And I think that I stand by that. Maybe it's just a bad joke.
It's both. I think perhaps both.
So, yeah, you can check that out. Otherwise, I don't know. I'm not getting a lot of interaction on Twitter, but the followers keep going up, so,
hard to complain.
I guess I'm doing something right, or, yeah. I mean, we got killer ratio. I took other podcasts to task a month or two ago about their, getting 400 followers without following a ton of people back, and I kind of take pride in that, Jordan.
Well, you got to take pride in something, so.
Yeah, isn't that right?
No mailbag this week, but we are returning the question of the week segment.
Jordan, I got a question for you, pal.
Do ya?
Yeah. It's a good question, too. So, in this episode, Al and Cal, they have a bitter rift about tea, chamomile versus Earl Grey. Jean-Luc Picard likes his tea Earl Grey hot. Jordan, what is your feeling, or what are your feelings towards tea? You like it? Have you enjoyed it? You've had it at some point, I'm sure. Just talk about tea.
Sure.
Tea talk.
How sure are you?
You know what? The things you haven't seen and haven't done never cease to amaze me. So, maybe you have. I don't know.
So, to your surprise, perhaps, and maybe our audience's surprise, I do drink tea. However, I'm not a fan of the herbal stuff.
Okay.
I don't really like any sort of flavored tea. I pretty much drink tea one way, and that's unsweet without a lemon.
Shaken, not stirred?
And iced. And iced as well.
Unsweetened with a lemon.
Without a lemon.
Without a lemon?
Just unsweetened iced tea.
Oh, so what about hot tea, though?
I don't really ever have hot tea.
Okay, so just like plain iced tea.
That's all I want, baby.
Is that a summertime drink for you?
It's a really all the time drink. I had it last night at dinner.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't... the caffeine sometimes bothers people, but it doesn't bother me as much, so... what about you?
Yeah, no, I'm not done, though. What about hot tea, though? I mean, the question... I mean, I'm glad you answered and that you like, a cold tea, but do you like hot tea at all?
I've only had it a handful of times.
See, I knew it. I knew you hadn't hardly ever had hot tea. We grew up about 5 miles apart, but we might as well have had different lives.
The only time I can really remember having it is if I've had like a cold or something and someone tried to put like a little bit of honey in there. But yeah, it's not my favorite thing. I don't really like drinking hot things. Like when I drink something, I want it to be refreshing and cool. So
I thought you loved a hot toddy.
Nope, I don't.
Okay.
So tell me about your vastly different experience with tea.
You tell me what you're trying to say and I'll answer.
I've had too many hot toddies.
Jordan, I mean, I've had tea probably, you said you've had it 5 times. I probably had it 500 times, not to brag, but...
So wait, hold on. In your estimation, is iced tea not tea?
I mean, it wasn't what I was talking about.
Okay.
It's tea, but like they're talking about hot tea in this episode, so that was kind of what I was thinking. I'll say this about iced tea, and I don't want to ruffle any feathers, but I think it's inferior to hot tea.
Whoa, be careful.
I don't know. I don't know how long we've been recording, but I'm not sure we have enough time to get into this.
We definitely don't.
Okay.
That's going to be on our bonus outtake. So if you want to donate to Patreon, you can get.
Hey, Jordan, I got news for you. As soon as we're off, I'm cutting bait. I'm not talking to you anymore. Okay, so hot tea. Yeah. I'm a coffee man, Jordan.
You are.
If people know anything about me, it's that I like coffee.
Dark.
I drink a lot of coffee.
Some cream.
I can drink it really fast. And I need it in a way that drug addicts need drugs, and I don't know where I'm going with that.
This is probably a good time for me to say, Adam, we need to talk.
Sure, Jordan. Yeah, just I gotta go though. Okay. No, hot tea. Yeah, I feel like we drink a fair amount of it around here. I like a mint tea. I do like chamomile. I like Earl Grey. I like tea. I don't like it as much as I like coffee. I would need it to be sweetened. I like it with a little milk. My sister likes tea a lot, and I feel like drinks a fair amount of tea. So whenever I'm with her, she'll make me a cup. But yeah, I mean, I enjoy a cup of tea from time to time. I wouldn't get into a fight over it, though, unless you want to fight about iced tea versus hot tea, and then we'll put it on Patreon and people will give us megabucks.
Do you have any, like, I'm going to say adornments again. Do you have any adornments with your tea? Like, do you do some crackers, some crumpets, some cookies?
No,
just straight tea.
I mean, I would. I don't know. Yeah, I'm not against it, but usually I feel like I drink tea a lot when I have like a stomach ache, which is kind of a lot. But
probably from all that coffee you drink.
I don't think there's any relation between the two. I refuse to go down that rabbit hole. Say rabbit hole again. Jordan, what are we covering next week?
We're covering A Marked Man, which I hope is an episode all about Mark.
I know what it is. I know what it's about.
Oh, good. Don't tell me that.
Jordan, I gotta tell you a little something. Mark steals a pocket knife.
No!
Wet your whistle on that for the next week.
Oh, man. I'm gonna have to ruminate about that. I'm gonna have to stew on some home improvement recipes.
I think we're gonna party like it's episode 99 next week. So, Jordan, thank you for joining me and going down all rabbit holes imaginable. Listeners, thank you for listening if you're still there. And I guess I should say take care.
Take care, everybody.